Good afternoon and welcome to Solent Sports News. It's 4 o'clock and I'm Holden Daly. Southampton Football Club couldn't get the victory they needed against Manchester City to keep the FA Cup's hopes alive. Hasenhüttl explains that his players will be taking some time off during the international break.
It's an intense time between the international. The last one we had, I think, in November, and then we had a break in January, but it's good. It's good to have.
Saints will look to regroup and see how far they can move up in the table with 8 matches left in the Premier League season. I have Ella Bowler in today to share her opinions on how the Saints can progress. What do you think went wrong for Southampton, Ella?
The team are good. They're consistent, but sometimes probably in the wrong areas. If they build from the back to push forward more, their midfield can execute the correct passes up to the front where they can then penetrate. They're currently not clinical enough though to create working all together, and putting these things together from working back to front means that they can give the side a better chance.
Definitely. And how can the side move forward as well?
Well, without the FA Cup to worry about now, after their defeat this weekend, unfortunately, they can put all their focus into the Premier League. They've managed to clutch on to staying up higher than they were this time last year. So their main task now needs to be preventing themselves from falling any closer to the relegation zone.
Definitely, and we'll see how they can kind of finish the season. Ella, thank you. I appreciate it. Southampton midfielder James Ward-Prowse sets his sights on Saturday as he steps forward in an international kit. England manager Gareth Southgate revealed his squad for the friendlies this month against Switzerland and Ivory Coast. The international break will give the team a chance to come together again before the 2022 World Cup at the end of the year. The bidding war continues over the purchase of Chelsea Football Club. Ian King explains who is now on the bidding on the London-based team.
Run by the likes of Garth Ritchie, who was a former senior banker at Deutsche Bank here in London. They're also supported by Jonathan Laurie of Cheney Capital, a London-based hedge fund, and Bob Finch from Talis Capital, well known in the tech sector.
Turning to cricket now, and Hampshire's season is up and running. They are currently taking on Gloucestershire at the Ageas Ball. At tea, Gloucestershire is up 201-6. Batsman Lewis McManus says he and his teammates are excited for the friendly.
Going into that game, obviously trying to win that straight away and get on a roll. So obviously it is a friendly, but we don't want to be just coasting through the friendlies and then sort of expect full intensity for the first proper game. So it'll be, keeping those standards high, full intensity straight away.
Hampshire will then have 2 more friendlies before smacking into the 2022 County Championship season come the 7th of April against Somerset. Pakistan beat West Indies in a match affected by the rain in the Women's Cricket World Cup. The match was reduced to just 20 overs and Pakistan won by 8 wickets. West Indies' loss gave a massive boost to England's semi-final chances. Heather Knight's England next play at Pakistan on Thursday. Back to more local news, a Bournemouth golfer woke up £100,000 richer. Georgia Hall won last night in the Saudi Arabia at the Ladies European Tour event. The victory took Hall to the top of the rankings of the race to the Costa del Sol after finishing second last year. She will now look to carry the momentum at the Classic in California come Thursday. Moving to climbing. Sports climbing is fastly becoming popular in its introduction to the 2020 Olympics in Japan. Stanley Ificha reports how it's growing locally in Hampshire.
But it's Janja Garnbrett of Slovenia who gets the gold medal and becomes this sport's first Olympic champion.
It's the climb. The struggles I'm facing, the chances I'm taking.
Sports climbing made its debut professionally in the 2020 Summer Olympics in Japan with 3 major categories: speed, lead, and bouldering. I'm going down to Boulder Shack Gym to ask manager Oli Rag how its debut in the Olympics has affected his gym.
It's good to see it growing especially as like the sport's been in the Olympics now, people are aware of it more. We're now sort of, I suppose previously we were getting sort of 150 people a day, now we're sort of averaging 250.
David, who's been climbing for 4 years, says it's helped him battle depression.
For me, it's like, it's a real like mental health thing. Like I've struggled a lot with depression. I think like climbing just gives me a sense of purpose. It's something to push towards. It's something that I have goals in.
So why exactly do people enjoy climbing? For Joe, a student of University of Southampton, it's because
there is a bit of strength. Body weight strength is probably one of the main things, but it incorporates a lot of things. That's why I think people kind of like it, because it's quite whole. It's like flexibility. Like I said, you think about it, you've got to work out the problems. It's like balance.
One thing is, however, certain when climbing, you will fall, like my friend here.
I've fallen more than a couple of times. Fallen quite a lot of times, but luckily there's nice soft mats on the ground.
Sports climbing is gradually becoming a popular sport, and in the 2024 Olympics in Paris, there will be separate medals awarded for the 3 major categories. Stanley Ifekuche for Solent Sport News.
The 2022 F1 season continues this upcoming Friday as the Saudi Arabia Grand Prix begins. Ferrari will look to build on their winning ways. The Formula One team got back to winning as they fell into the first and second place at the Bahrain yesterday. The driver hopes that this will lead their way back to have Mercedes' Lewis Hamilton come out. Speaking of Grand Prix, we have a great start to the 2020 season. Coming from with F1, we have Stanley Effica to kind of speak about the F1 season so far. So, Stanley, it's been a great start to the 2022 season for Ferrari, right?
Yeah, it has. They've been out for a while. Usually there is no competition without Ferrari. They've been, in the sport for a long time, and it's always good to see them, competing again. Now it's 3 cars as opposed to 2 from last season.
Yeah, and what happened to Team Red Bull in Bahrain?
They had a problem with their cars. Actually, not just 2, but 3, because the AlphaTauri 2 is also under the Red Bull, and it caught fire. But after the race, Christian Horner, the principal of the Red Bull, came out to say the car stopped. The engines just went off. Nobody was expecting that. They came into this race the better side. He says it might be a problem with the lift pump or collector, and they had an extra hour yesterday night given by FIA to change their lift pump, but it didn't just work out for them in the end.
And do you think Mercedes and Red Bull will get it right before Saudi Arabia this Friday?
Hopefully, I would like to see 3, cars in the competition, or 3 constructors actually. That makes it 6 cars. But Mercedes, I think, will need some time, a longer time. I think if anyone gets it right, it might be Red Bull. It should be Red Bull for Saudi Arabia.
Definitely. Stanley, we'll just have to see this Friday which teams are going to be able to kind of make up their losses. Thanks for joining us today.
It's been a pleasure.
On the tennis, a young star ended a winning streak of a living legend. Taylor Fritz stole Rafael Nadal's 20-match winning streak. It was the first title at Indian Wells, and it became the first American to win since 2001. Nadal will look to shake things off with the loss by playing in the upcoming Monte Carlo tournament. Boris Becker has arrived in Southwark Crown Court as he goes on trial to over charges relating to his bankruptcy. The former Wimbledon champion is accused of concealing funds and not handing over trophies to settle his debts. The 54-year-old BBC commentator had an impressive playing career that included 6 Grand Slams. In NFL news, Deshaun Watson is in Cleveland today to undergo a physical. He was traded last week to the Houston Texans to the Cleveland Browns in one of the biggest trades in league history. Many teams put in offers after a Texas grand jury didn't find enough evidence to charge him following allegations of sexual misconduct of 22 women. That's all from us this evening. Be sure to tune in next Monday at 11 a.m. for more Solent Sports news. Remember, you can follow us on our website at solentjournalism.coda.uk and on Twitter at Solent Sports News. Thank you. I'm Holden Daly.